thought the guys did a good job of just a busy week with 5 games. Being able to play on Tuesday and letting that wind go, and being able to play again on Wednesday, and getting caught in some extra innings and still being able to get on the other side of that, long travel. Thursday after the Tuesday-Wednesday game, having Stokey, thrown onto that too, that we lost him as our closer for a little while, and the travel involved, being able to stay focused to do what they had to do. So it was a good week, but we have to let it go, leave it behind us. We've got a lot of work to do ahead of us. We can't be looking behind if we're going to succeed at the work that we have ahead of us. So yesterday was a day off for them. Came at a good time. Every Monday is a day off, but they really needed that one. And we'll practice today at 2, have a light workout today at 2, be ready to compete against a good Louisiana Tech team on Wednesday. And then from there, another light workout on Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday with a much improved Little Rock team. Both these teams have been playing well. They all do all 3 things pretty good. They all pitch well, really well, and both of them play good defense, and both of them swing the bat real well. So they're balanced teams. I think that's why they're doing well. When you're heavy in one side, just hitting or just pitching or just defense, you'll only be good for so long. But what's going to be left standing at the end are the people that can do all 3, and these 2 teams do all 3 pretty good. And so I think that's what's made them good teams this year and having good years. So we'll have to be ready and play well. And again, be able to, leave last week behind. You always want to leave the last week behind, no matter whether you've won or lost, and move on, have the ability to move on, because you can't celebrate in baseball too long. You don't play once a week, so you have to be ready to go. So our guys did a good job, proud of that. Now what we have to do is let that go and be ready for this week. Questions you might have?
How'd you like Nick Lee in that role? Is he going to stick with it? What's the Stokey update?
But one, we really do like Nick in that role. Nick's always been a tough guy mentally. Not everybody can handle the closer role. You also have to have the stuff and then the makeup. Some guys have the makeup but lack the stuff. Some guys got the stuff, they lack the makeup. The one thing he's got is both of them. So that came at a good time for him to be able to step in there and help us with Stokey. Stokey is on his way back. He's rehabbing. We left him behind to rehab. We're just fortunate that it wasn't something that he tore. So at this point in time, it's all day to day. But he is continuing to improve. And then we got to test it a little bit once he's ready to come back. But one good thing is we didn't lose him for the season. So we'll pick him up. That'll give us 2 rock-solid guys out of the pen. And then now we can always start Nick again if we have to in the conference tournament or somewhere along the way if something happens. We've got Hogan now cycled up good in his role. This week we'll go Schmitty on Friday, Hogan on Saturday, and Jack on Sunday is what the rotation will be. Austin's going to go Wednesday, and then we'll keep Nick in the bullpen with us.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
Stokey availability for weekend, too early to know?
Too early and probably not, but day to day, yeah.
What you talked about potentially having Nick available to start in the conference tournament. What sort of mental process and what sort of physical process to go back and forth between, trying to have somebody
I think Nick will be fine because, they were all starters in high school. The biggest flip of the brain is when they come here to start being relief pitchers. That's the challenge. And then to put one in to try to get the last 3 outs, that's the next challenge, because there's an art to getting 3 outs. You think it'd be easy, but that's why they pay the guys in the back end of those big league games, those big league bullpens, the money they do. I find the greatest closers are the ones that can focus on getting 3 outs and not worried about the score. A lot of guys that are rookies or guys that haven't closed very much, I think the problem they get into is as soon as the guy reaches base, they start worrying about the score. They try to defend the scoreboard. And I think that's the issue. You look at the LSU game on Sunday, we were watching at the airport. LSU goes out bottom of the ninth, they're up 7-3. I mean, down 7-3, and Tennessee only has to get 3 outs, but they get walked off. LSU walks them off. So it's tough to get the last 3 outs. The first guy reached, you could see it in their faces. All of a sudden they start making pitching changes, and the ball dribbles through the infield, and then now you can just see them worried about the score and the scoreboard, and then all of a sudden it turns into being walked off. And so I find that when Demo was at his best, I thought he was one of the best at it. If you got on first, if you got on second, I mean, no matter what happened, he wasn't defending the scoreboard. He was going to get 3 outs. And I've said this before. Dusty Baker said this before. He put 3 sunflower seeds up on the ledge in the ninth of every ball game. And when he got the first out, he'd eat the first seed. And when he get the second out, he'd eat the second seed. And he said it was so hard to get to that 3rd seed. And I don't know what it is. Pitchers change the way they pitch. Trying to get the last out of a game, and Nick came in and made it look real easy. Demo used to come in and make it look real easy when he was 100% healthy, and Stokey has made this look easy. And those guys, to me, what they have the ability to do is come in and get 3 outs, and they got an understanding that I got to get 1 out at a time, and I got to get 3 outs. They don't defend the scoreboard, so they can be up. We can be up 4-2. 5-3, 1-0, and they don't really know what the score is. They're really defending the outs versus the scoreboard. So I think Nick's going to go back and forth easy. I think it was a good flip of his brain. We did it a couple of years ago with Matt Hicks when Matt was struggling as a closer. We threw him into a starter role. Boy, he took off for a while. Sometimes you just got to flip their brain, and I really think he's going to be fine. He looked really good. He made both games look really easy. Not that that's going to be the case always, but usually when guys make something difficult look easy, they're good at what they're doing. So I think he'll be fine. I think his velocity is going to climb back up again. You usually see that in closer roles because they can let it all hang out. He doesn't have to worry about 100 pitches, 7 innings, or whatever. He can come in and let it go. And he's got the stuff. He's got a plus changeup. He's got a plus slider, and his command was really good. So we were glad to see that. We really needed that. One for Nick, and then one for to close in the back end of those games with Stokey down. So I think he'll be fine if we have to come back and grab him as a starter.
Is anything physically he has to do to go from 3 outs to 90, 100 pitches in maybe a few days' notice or weeks' notice?
I think the physical part of the starting is really the 5-day week process of the work it goes into to get ready to start, and then have to go back through that 5-6 day process again. So the physical side of things, he has to alter the way he lifts. He has to alter the way he runs in conditions, because now he's on call now, every 2 nights maybe, or like the weekend. He hit it, I believe, on Wednesday for us maybe. And then again on Friday, and again on Saturday. So they got to be careful when they get their lifts in, because in his other role, he was on 6 days, so he could lift almost twice. He could get 2 lifts in there, a heavy one after he's thrown, and then a lighter one. Plus, he has to switch to all really quick twitch muscle fiber work now, whereas working in a 6-7 day rotation, they would work, a lot of long stuff on their bodies right after they throw. Then they would cycle up to their start. Whereas now he's going to have to, they'll flip him in the weight room and flip his conditioning to stuff that the relievers are doing, which is really fast twitch stuff. Because that's what they do. They come in for 3 to 6 outs, and they let it all out. So you have to train them like they're going to pitch. So on the physical side of things, we'll alter his weight workout, and we'll alter his conditioning.
Can you speak about Michael Leaumont a little bit from going? I think he only pitched 1/3 of 2 games, and last week you really leaned on him a lot. Just how far he came just in the last week.
Well, again, he's another product of work while you wait. Other frontline guys were going out ahead of him. And, you know, everybody kind of says that's just a slogan he uses. But, again, I'll say it again. I think even in your personal life, I think the worst thing a person can do is finally have the door open in life, and there are opportunities there, and they're not ready for it. And what most people do is they work once they see the door open instead of working while they wait. And he did a real good job of working while he waited. He's got one of the better curveballs on our team. He worked with Coach Freeman a couple weeks ago on trying to pick up a cutter. So he picked up a cutter. That's made a big difference, made a big difference in Carter when Carter went from his junior year to his senior year here with that cutter. So he picked up another pitch. His spin rate was really good, probably some of the highest behind Hogan Harris's breaking ball, but he has a good breaking ball. So now he's picked up that cutter. And then, again, working while he waited, he went in against Arkansas State and got his beat down. Most all of them have to go through a beat down or some type of bitterness along the way to get to a happy ending. But he got through his bitterness good. He was tiptoeing when he went in to pitch. So when you tiptoe, you're going to come sit by me for a while until you learn not to tiptoe. So usually, you know, getting a chart and a clipboard for a while helps tiptoeing. So he held the clipboard for a while and charted for a long time, and then now he went back out, and now he's not tiptoeing anymore. So the worst thing pitchers can do is try to tiptoe through the tulips, and a lot of them will do that as freshmen, which gets them in trouble, and it doesn't help us. So now he's attacking the strike zone, and I'm glad for him because his stuff was good. We tell him all the time, it's not dishonorable to give your ability a chance to fail you. If it fails you, that's okay. But what's dishonorable is when you fail your ability. And his ability was good. It's just the way he was using it. He gave the hitters too much credit. That's what freshmen do when they first pitch. Rookies do it a lot when they get into the big leagues. They'll pitch on what we call the safe side of the plate, right off the plate inside, right off the plate outside, because there's no damage can be done there, and they act like they're pitching. They're not really pitching. I mean, they're tiptoeing like somebody running on hot sand barefooted. And we want them to charge the white of the plate and not tiptoe. And now what he's doing is he's charging the white, then he's going back out to the edges. That's the way you want to pitch. You don't want to start out on the edges and then let them pigeonhole you to the middle of the plate in a 3-1, 2-1 count. And that's kind of what he was doing. It negated his breaking ball because he was always behind in the count. So now he's gotten ahead in the count. And so we really needed that. We really needed another arm, and Armstrong went down. So and Armstrong's going to be out for a while. So it was important that we pick up another arm. And then when Stokey went down, it was even more important that we pick up that arm. So Mike's done a good job of working while he waited. He's done a good job of going through tiptoeing, and now he's attacking the strike zone. So that's what's really helped him.
How hard or how easy is it to develop a pitch mid-season?
It's not always easy. A lot of times if they have the spin rotation and the hand speed on something, it's a lot easier. In teaching pitching for 30 years, I've never given somebody a curveball. I believe you have to be able to spin the ball before you get here. This is a belief system that we have in the recruiting process, that the guy's got to be able to spin the ball before he gets here. He has good spin rate, and he's got good hand speed, and he's got one of the better breaking balls on the team. So I think when they flip to the cutter to give him a third pitch, because for time's sake, the breaking ball doesn't travel in always a tunnel like the fastball and the changeup does. So if you can get another pitch into that tunnel, because anything that comes out of that tunnel, it gives the hitter an advantage. If you watched the other night in the no-hitter, almost a perfect game by yes, he put on a pitching seminar when we had 10 hours of dead time in the airport. We were watching the game on the iPad, and the guy put on a clinic, and I don't think he threw one curveball or one slider. because he stayed in the tunnel all night, and he gave the Astros a lot of trouble. And they finally got him when he got out of the tunnel. He got a little while, that last inning he got in, and he got outside the tunnel. Once you get outside the tunnel, the advantage goes back to the hitter. So back to the cutter travels in that tunnel as the fastball. So that's why it made Carter so good, is because he added a variable in the tunnel, and then he had one pitch out of the tunnel for what we call a freeze pitch. You'll throw that one every once in a while, like Gunnar does. Gunner's really good at that, staying in the tunnel, and every once in a while he'll show you your breaking ball, and that breaking ball locks up the hitter because his eyes get caught in that tunnel, and then when something gets outside the tunnel, it freezes him. And so that's what's, I think, helped Leaumont like it did Carter, and the cutter turned out to be really good. I mean, it's good. And I think the only reason he was able to pick that up is because he already had high spin rate and good hand speed already with the breaking ball.
I think it's safe to say that there's probably not a bad midweek game that you can have in Louisiana, because for so many weeks it's, man, this is a good RPI game. This game is a good RPI game. Facing Tech, a team that was just in the top 25 last week, what can that do? What can that show, especially on the street that you're on?
Well, what's really good that I like is I've always believed this. I don't think you can sharpen a knife with a Kleenex or a paper plate. So I think iron sharpens iron. So I like playing good teams. I think that's how you get better. And then after a while, it's like seeing 95-mile-an-hour fastball like they do in the big leagues. After a while, it doesn't look 95. But you bring some college guy or high school guy up to the pros and let him see 95, 96 for the first time, it's going to look really, really fast to him until he sees it enough. So it's the same thing playing a good schedule or good teams. After a while, you start to just play as if it's a baseball game. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm playing so-and-so, I'm playing this team that's ranked #1 in the country. But if you don't play a good schedule, then and all of a sudden you go up against those teams, I think that's a difference. There's a difference involved. So what's good is our schedule's really weathered us. I think it's weathered us for all this travel. It's weathered us for being able to be playing on the road. I think there's a lot of weathering that's going on that's helped us. And I'm glad. You know, I'm from Louisiana. I'm glad that Louisiana baseball, I'm glad always that Louisiana baseball is good. I mean, we want it to be good. It helps us. It helps make us better. And we also want our league to be good. I'm glad that Little Rock's a good team, and I'm glad that they have a good RPI. We talk about that every year when we go into the conference meetings, that we have to build from the bottom up. And not just one or two teams at the top with good RPIs and then nobody else, because it hurts us when you get to the back end of your schedule and you start playing, you know, 3-game series towards the end of the year and somebody's RPI is really bad in your league. That doesn't help you at all. It doesn't help anybody. And so I'm glad that we've got 2 good games, and I've always said this, I don't think you have to travel far, you know, up I-10 or 49 to get your butt whipped in baseball. I mean, we got a lot of good coaches in Louisiana, and we got a lot of good baseball teams in Louisiana. So we're glad that they're good, and we're glad that Little Rock's gotten better, and we hope that everybody in our league gets better because it makes our league better. The SEC, towards the end of the stretch, they can actually raise their RPIs in 3-game series at the end of the year. They can raise their RPI in their conference tournament, which you got to watch out with a weak conference. And then because we roll a team off our schedule every year, that's dangerous, because when they start to roll the South Al off or the Coastal Carolina off on you, then you're dropping off a 3-game series with a good RPI team. So I'm glad that the RPIs are getting better in our league personally, and I'm glad that we're playing another good midweek game, because to me that's the only way to get better is to play against people that are just as good as you or better.
Is there anything specifically about Tech that impresses you?
Well, they're well coached. You know, he comes from Northwestern, which he did a good job there. They pitch real well. I'd rather face a team that's a good hitting team over a good pitching team, because most of the time good pitching beats good hitting. But they do pitch good. They got 31 home runs, and they play good defense. So that's what I always look at is how do they do all three? To me, that says a lot about a team is how do they do all three? And when you can pitch, score comes down. When you can play defense, you start to take away the free bases from somebody's team. So now the onus becomes on you having to hit the baseball. I mean, you have to. We played McNeese the other night. They kicked the ball around a lot. So they gave us some free bases, if you will. When you give free bases, runs go up because it takes less hits to score runs. So you become a better hitting team when people give you free stuff. So when I look and I see somebody's good defenders, then you have to take notice to that because free base is now going to come down. So now you got to make use of the hits you're going to get because there's not going to be as many base runners out there. So I think that's what's made Little Rock better. You know, used to they'd be at the bottom of the league in pitching or hitting or defense. Now they all up to the middle of the pack in all three, and Tech does all three well. So this will be 4, really good baseball games. We're going to have to match it with good pitching. That's what you have to do, and then you match it with good defense, which we've been very fortunate. Our defense has been in the top 10 in the country all year. They're first in this league. That's all we've got to do is continue to score runs and continue to be a little bit more physical than we were in the first half, which we were over these last 5 games. Our on-base percentage has gone up, in these last 5 games. So, and pitching got consistent, and that's going to have to be the recipe this week too. Is the good pitching, the good defense, and the timely hitting. I know you'll get sick and tired of hearing that, but.
So why not just play one fewer non-conference series and play everybody in the league, especially if you're going to play South Carolina anyway?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't make the rules. I don't make the rules. I just have to abide by them. But that's the way it is.